well, we had our first trial with the three of us. Congratulations. We moved through that quite nicely, right? You guys, what just happened?
That was amazing. I mean, ready to go to my next school board meeting and like make a presentation that we take on the green Bronx machine curriculum. He's like so much more than he's not just somebody who advocates, school gardens or community gardens or something. He talked about growing people. I mean, he is so outward focused and able to take any concern, any worry, and turn it into an opportunity.
Totally.
And take the positivity and grow it into something great.
Can we discuss how self-aware he was too? Yeah. On top of being what we view as a superhuman and the amazing impact he has made in his time on this planet, he is so selfless and on top of it, really self-aware.
And I think too, I mean, granted, we've only had 2 guests so far, but it's interesting that already this season, the theme is very start thinking about others. Like Jackie said the same thing, where it was take a minute and think about other people. Just like Stephen was saying, the rising tide, lifting all boats. Like, he's out there and he's helping other people, and that's that's what keeps him up at night. Like, how can I do this better? How can I help more people? How can we solve this problem? And it's just, that's the type of person, you, in a lot of ways, it's almost a once in a lifetime opportunity. But as we get more and more involved in this sustainable community and like-minded people who want to build communities and raise a collective consciousness and stuff like that, you realize how fortunate we are that there are so many people actually like that in the world, and that, vibrationally, they're all coming together to do these big, bad, great things. Well, not big, bad, but, awesome.
Bad as cool.
Bad in the good way.
In the Michael Jackson way. Okay. Let's just get it straight. Exactly. And also the cool thing that I love is that all the accolades always revert back to what the real purpose is. He's providing the scalable, replicable model for the next generation to emulate as example. And I just want to say, let's all be that type of human. Because that's the type of human that we all can be. We really can. It's demonstrable. We just heard it. We felt it. And Beth, as an educator, this must have been really, for all the educators out there who might want to watch this episode, what were your thoughts?
A lot of what he talked about spoke to how much of an influence the adults in the world have on kids. One thing that kind of bugs me that I see a lot in schools is that sometimes adults tend to treat kids as things and not as people. Like they don't respect that. Like there's this thing in a classroom when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to ask permission to get up and go pee. Like you're an adult person, a kid is a person. Everybody needs to go to the bathroom. Why are we making this, like a permission? Why is that something you have to ask permission for? I just think sometimes we don't treat kids as human beings, but Stephen does.
Yeah.
You can tell that through his work that he puts the effort not just into like teaching the kid the mechanics of how to grow a green bean, right? Or how to set up a hydroponics tower. He teaches the kids the mechanics of how to be human beings. And he creates the relationships with them, which is the most valuable thing. Kids need the relationships, more than they need the, curriculum-based reading boosters. I mean,
yeah, they say that the future
food
and food
and they need to eat,
and they need to eat, and they need to have nutrition to do all of the incredible activities that they have to do in an 8-hour schedule at school. I remember that very well, and how exhausting that was. But also the idea that it seems like the future is going to be more automated, right? We've got like robots on the horizon and artificial intelligence, and we don't know what that's going to look like, but it seems like some of the skills are complex social skills, what you're talking about, building relationships, right? Problem solving, which is what happens in a farm. Like he just said, you're learning problem solving. Like a lot of these things that he's doing, he's teaching sort of the future skills that will be necessary for a fully digitalized, immersive world that might be automized and like lots of jobs are being lost, right?
But if that world doesn't have more equity around food,
Mm,
It's not going to be any better if we still have the same inequity
good point.
around food availability. Like the last couple of years during COVID, food was free in schools, free
Mm-hmm.
breakfast, free lunch for every single student. This year that stopped. The USDA and the government don't provide that. So I'm seeing families come in and the parents are like, we put $60 on our kid's school account like 3 weeks ago when school started and it's gone. Like, what happened? Okay, well, it's because that's how much lunch costs every day,
Inflation as well. Like there's so many things that are
and
dependent on
yeah,
feeding
but
yourself.
then the food those kids bring is like bag of chips and whatever, like whatever they could buy down at the convenience store or Dollar Tree or something. And so um, not only is Stephen like showing them how to grow, but he's growing substantial amounts of real food, which is of
Yeah.
course more nutritious and is going to have better outcomes than the Cheetos, the Fritos, and Doritos. So,
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, what was your
so
favorite part of the segment today? Did you have something that just stood out?
Um, Something that actually stood out, and this was really, well, there's two things, but that was beautiful to me. The first was what he said he was leaving to his daughter, and really, he's leaving her the entire world, like a network, a worldwide network, which is, I mean, that's mind blowing. But
Legacy, a
which,
legacy,
yeah,
how
yeah,
how do you leave your posterity a legacy that actually has purpose? It's not like a Pharaoh
yeah,
legacy or like a Kardashian legacy, like he mentioned. It's an actual
yeah,
legacy that it provides a roadmap for the golden age.
yeah. And then I would say the thing that struck me the most was I was a little confused at first. Because he was claiming basically every child that's ever gone through his program as his child. And so at first I was like, how many kids does this guy have? And then I realized, after, we had gone on for a little bit, I was like, oh no, he means every child he's ever taught. That's his kid. And when you see that amount of passion, that amount of heart going into something, like, that it's going to be life altering. It's going, there's no denying that what he's there for and his intentions, and that this is, and he may be the first and only person that ever stood for those kids.
mm,
And I think that that's amazing and powerful and wonderful to know that it exists in the world.
It takes a special kind of human being to be able to connect with your inner child, that you can actually connect with children and inspire them. They trust him.
mhm,
Obviously, they have so many opportunities now because of working together in cooperation to move forward in this new realm that was never possible for many children that didn't have opportunities. He's standing in the middle of what is essentially a war zone, right, in the Bronx,
mhm.
and
Oh.
not scared, full of hope, just like a lighthouse. So, yeah, this is an episode that no one is going to want to miss. Don't walk, run to your nearest headset, run to the screen. This is the one time you're going to want to actually run to the screen and listen to this conversation. Stephen Ritz was among us and gracing us with his wonderful presence and teaching us all the things that we can be.